Good morning. It's Pop again, Dennis Murray. Um, Today I'm going to do something different. Uh, I have been reading this book, The Rediscovery of Awe, by Kirk Schneider, and his subtitle is Splendor, Mystery, and the Fluid Center of Life. I've just become impressed enough with the book that I want to give a discussion of it, a long book review that's going to take two or three of these podcasts to do. I want to give it its due, and it's more time than we, can handle in one or two podcasts. His main point is that awe is at the basis of our psychology, and his his he phrases this a number of ways, and he develops it in some detail. He is a psychologist himself, and he is taking this base point of view and creating a whole new developmental psychology around it that would also influence our society and the way adults live, because of our important role in living our adult lives as um, people whose development has been enhanced by this appreciation of awe, but also in our roles as providing the necessary support to the children as they develop. Um, Essentially, his point of view is that there is a paradox involved, and it comes from the fact that awe is a mix of fear and wonder. Um, and we need to hold both the fear and the wonder together. And we need to recognize that for the child, developmental psychology starts with how the child develops. For the infant, um, the the fear part can become unduly exaggerated and do harm, and the wonder part can become unduly exaggerated and do harm. What's needed is for both parts to be seen as valuable by adults, seen as part of the real world that our developmental psychology helps us live in, and and that by holding both of these things together, uh, then we come to enjoy uh, the the best that our evolved psychology can give us. It gives us a life that includes vitality, purpose, meaning, um, as well as structure and comfort and stability. And his point is that it's very easy for uh, the child in development to become, somewhat unvital, somewhat sort of uh, static in their situation, their attitude towards the world, um, or it's possible for the child to become over ecstatic and lose the balance and stability features that are part of a whole personality. Um, his contention is that modern developmental psychology doesn't deal with the awe at the beginning. As he describes it, essentially, the fact of being, that a child becomes aware that there's death in the world and it becomes confronted with awareness that his own death is part of life. And the child then struggles to make sense out of this confrontation with being, and that there's no way around this. And the psychology needs to be more respectful of this. What he says is development psychology basically has little to offer but move the child towards the center and towards a safe, stable, static um, development. Don't engage being and don't engage the fear and wonder that is awe. That's at the heart of our actual psychology that needs to be addressed by developmental psychology. So he's in the first, I've read 30% of the book. I'm reading it on Kindle and been able to take a lot of notes and extract a lot of quotes. Um, he's set out to establish what he thinks is a good model for developmental psychology, and he calls it the fluid center, meaning that the child's psychology is centered. It includes stability and order, but it's also fluid in that it includes openness, it includes vitality, it includes excitement. And then he, in the process of this first 30% of the book, he's discussed at great length a case that he's created, which is put together from a variety of clients and cases that he's actually had in his practice over the years. A boy named Toby, whose father dies when Toby is age 4, and whose uncle is able to help Toby come to terms with the fact that loss and grief and change are also part of life, and that others have gone through them and have survived, and that you need not give up your life in the face of these things. He was able to introduce the boy to the excitement and openness of life. And he did so in part because his own life had included a good deal of tribulations that he was able to come to terms with at some pain, so that he sensed what the boy was going through and was able to be helpful to him about it. So I'm going to quit for today. I am trying to, work on the times to hold it down to, 8-10 minutes. And I have some wonderful quotes, which I'll read some of tomorrow, and we'll keep going with this for a while. I think this book really has a lot to offer. Okay, take care. See you tomorrow.